Hey Reddit. I'm writing this from my laptop in my own apartment, shaking a little bit from a mix of adrenaline, anger, and honestly, a strange sense of vindication. This is going to be a long one because there is a lot of history here, and I just need to get it all out. For as long as I, 23M, can remember, my family had a strict hierarchy. My parents are highly traditional, upper-middle-class people who care obsessively about what the neighbors, the church community, and the extended family think. My older brother Kevin, 26M, was the golden child. He was perfect on paper, captain of the high school debate team, straight-A student, went to a prestigious law school, and always wore tailored suits. My parents practically worshipped the ground he walked on. Every family dinner was a lecture about why I couldn't be more like Kevin. I was the black sheep. I had severe, undiagnosed ADHD as a kid, which my parents treated as laziness and rebellion. I hated school, but I loved computers. By 16, I was building PCs, learning Python, and diving deep into Linux and cybersecurity. My parents viewed this as a useless hobby. My dad famously told me, "Sitting in a dark room staring at a screen makes you a loser, not a professional." When I turned 18, I tried to please them by enrolling in a traditional business college, but I hated it. I dropped out after 1 year to pursue tech certifications and freelance software engineering. That was the day my parents officially gave up on me. I was allowed to live in their basement, but I had to pay them rent, which was basically just a tax for existing in their house, and they made sure to remind me daily that I was a parasite and a stain on their reputation. When I turned 18, I tried to please them by enrolling in a traditional business college, but I hated it. I dropped out after 1 year to pursue tech certifications and freelance software engineering. That was the day my parents officially gave up on me. I was allowed to live in their basement, but I had to pay them rent, which was basically just a tax for existing in their house, and they made sure to remind me daily that I was a parasite and a stain on their reputation. To get out of that toxic house, I worked like a dog. I did food delivery at night, and took every low-paying coding gig I could find. Over 3 years, I managed to save up $25,000. It was my ticket to freedom, money for a down payment on a small studio apartment, and advanced cybersecurity boot camps. Because the bank account had been opened when I was 17, my dad was still listed as a joint owner. I kept meaning to move it to a private account, but I was working 16-hour days and kept putting it off. That was my biggest mistake. 2 years ago, Kevin's perfect facade shattered. It turned out he had developed a severe gambling addiction during law school. He had maxed out multiple credit cards, taken out shady private loans, and owed over $80,000 to some very dangerous people. He confessed to my parents, crying that his career would be ruined before it even started. Instead of holding him accountable, my parents panicked about the family name. One Tuesday morning, I went to pay for a certification exam, and my card was declined. I checked my banking app. Balance $0. I ran upstairs, furious, demanding to know what happened. My parents and Kevin were sitting at the kitchen table. My dad looked me dead in the eye and calmly said, "We used it. Kevin needs it more than you. You're just going to waste it on video games anyway. Kevin is the future of this family. He's going to be a lawyer. You need to support your brother." I lost it. I started screaming, calling Kevin a thief and a fraud. I told my parents I was going to call the police. That's when my dad snapped. He stood up and slapped me across the face so hard my lips split. "How dare you speak to us like that in our house?" he roared. "You are a leech. A lazy, ungrateful, useless disappointment. You are the disgrace of this family. Pack your bags and get out. Don't ever come back until you become someone we can actually be proud of." I looked at my mother. Surely she would defend me? She just crossed her arms, turned her back to me, and whispered, "Just leave, Leo. You're ruining this family." Kevin just sat there, looking at his phone, smirking. They threw my clothes and my desktop computer into garbage bags and shoved me out the front door. I spent the first week sleeping in the back of my 2011 Honda Civic. It was November, and it was freezing. I would wash my face in public restroom sinks. The betrayal was like a physical weight in my chest. I cried until I couldn't breathe, realizing that the people who brought me into this world valued a liar's reputation over my actual survival. Eventually, a friend from my online gaming community found out what happened and let me crash on his couch in a different city. That couch became my command center. The heartbreak turned into pure, unadulterated spite. Spite is a hell of a motivator. I worked 80 to 90 hours a week. I slept 4 hours a night. I took a job as a junior sysadmin for a small company, and on the side, I built a freelance business doing penetration testing, legal hacking to find security flaws for businesses. I got lucky, but I also worked until my eyes bled. Within 18 months, I landed a senior cybersecurity role at a major tech firm making $140,000 a year, while my side business brought in another $5,000 a month. I bought a beautiful 2-bedroom apartment. I bought a new car. I built a life. And I blocked every single member of my family on everything. Email, phone, social media, gone. As far as I was concerned, they died the night they threw me out. That brings us to yesterday. I was hosting a small dinner party with a few friends. We were laughing, drinking wine, and eating steak. Life was good. Then, the doorbell rang. I opened the door, expecting a delivery driver. Instead, my heart dropped into my stomach. Standing in the hallway were my mother and father. They looked unrecognizable. My dad, who used to be a proud, well-dressed man, looked frail, defeated, and had deep bags under his eyes. My mom looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. Before I could even process the shock or slam the door, my mother dropped to her knees on the hard floor of the hallway. She grabbed the hem of my jeans, weeping uncontrollably. My dad bowed his head, his shoulders shaking as he began to cry. My friends in the living room went completely silent. It was a bizarre, humiliating spectacle. "Leo, please," my dad choked out. "Please don't close the door. We have nowhere else to go." I felt completely numb. I stepped back into my apartment, forcing my mother to let go of my legs, and told them to step inside just to stop them from making a scene in the public hallway. My friends quietly gathered their things and left through the back exit, sensing the gravity of the situation. We sat in my living room. I didn't offer them water. I didn't offer them a seat. I stood by the kitchen counter with my arms crossed. "How did you find me?" I asked, my voice cold. My dad explained that they had begged my cousin, the only extended family member I still occasionally text, for my address, claiming there was a family emergency. And then, the story unraveled. It turns out, Kevin never stopped gambling. My $25,000 was just a drop in the bucket. To keep up appearances, Kevin had started skimming money from the escrow accounts of the clients at his law firm. He got caught. He was disbarred, fired, and is currently awaiting trial. He is facing up to 7 years in federal prison. To pay for his high-end criminal defense lawyers, my parents took out a massive second mortgage on their house. But it got worse. Kevin had also borrowed over $100,000 from local loan sharks. When Kevin couldn't pay, the loan sharks came to my parents' house. They broke the windows, keyed their cars, and threatened my dad. My parents used all their retirement savings to pay off the sharks, but now they can't afford the second mortgage. The bank is foreclosing on the house. They are being evicted in exactly 30 days. They are completely bankrupt, their credit is ruined, and their family reputation, they loved so much, is entirely destroyed. Everyone in their social circle knows their son is a criminal. My dad looked up at me with tears streaming down his face. "Leo, we looked you up online. We saw your company. We know you're doing well. We need $60,000 to clear the immediate debt and save the house. If you don't help us, your mother and I will be living in a shelter next month. Please, son. We are begging you on our knees. Family is family. I looked at these two people. I looked at my mother, who couldn't even look me in the eye when I was kicked out. I looked at my dad, who had slapped me for defending the money I earned with my own sweat. I let out a soft laugh. It wasn't a happy laugh, it was a cold, bitter sound. Family is family? I repeated. Where was that logic 2 years ago when you emptied my bank account? Where was family when you threw my life's work into trash bags and left me to freeze in my car? You told me Kevin was the future of this family. You told me to only come back when I became someone you could be proud of. I walked over to the front door and opened it wide. Well, look at me. I am highly successful. I am wealthy. I have a beautiful home. I am exactly the kind of son you wanted, but I did it despite you, not because of you. And the funniest part? I am not your son anymore. You killed that son 2 years ago. My dad's face changed from despair to sudden anger. Leo, we are your parents. We gave you life. You can't do this to us over one mistake. You are a heartless monster. You have 10 seconds to leave, I said, pulling out my phone. Before I call the police and have you dragged out for trespassing. Go ask your golden child for a place to live. Oh, wait. He's going to jail. My mom wailed, and my dad cursed at me, calling me an ungrateful piece of trash, but they hurried out before the police could be called. Since yesterday, my phone has been a war zone. My cousin, my aunts, and uncles, people I haven't heard from in years, are bombing my inbox. They are calling me cruel, sociopathic, and saying that letting my elderly parents become homeless over past drama is unforgivable. My cousin texted, "Yes, they messed up, but they are your parents. You have the money, Leo. Keeping it out of spite makes you just as bad as them." But honestly, I slept like a baby last night. I feel no guilt. They sowed the seeds of their own destruction, and now they have to harvest it. Am I the asshole? Because right now, I'm planning on changing my number, upgrading my security system, and moving on with my beautiful, family-free life.